One episode. Number 7 is upon us. Welcome to the Bodhi Bros, where today we will be talking about Abraham Hicks's recording called Finding Self-Love. I'm John with a J.
And I am Bodhi Ray. And let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. Let me ask you a quick question, Ray. It may sound
All
like
right.
a little redundant here from just a few moments ago before we jumped on, but do you have notes today? Do you have any notes?
I have some. I gotta say, it was a tough listen to the first time. I kind of felt like I was getting yelled at in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was kind of like okay, and then you do that, and then you do this, and then this is vibration, and then what do you do with it? And that's, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
A really big difference after listening to someone like Jack Cornfield.
Oh yeah, what a shift, man. What a shift. It was like a machine gunner there. Like you said, it was like, and for those of you that haven't watched the video yet, it seems like an audience member or something at a seminar asked her, or Abraham Hicks, which hopefully Ray can describe a little better than I can, the whole channeling thing and what maybe the history of, because I don't have much experience there. I have a little bit, and I'll get into that, but not much. But the audience member was asking for, some guidance, and man, she was on a turret, man. She just would not let her speak, and she's like, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I love the passion. I love when someone's flowing. But, as someone that definitely steps and has stepped hard on people in the past, I could definitely really just empathize with the lady in her position, as she really just wasn't getting too much of a chance to vocalize what her needs were. But anyway.
It's a different style, different teacher.
Yeah.
Than what we're used to. Her name is actually Esther Hicks. And she channels these non-physical entities. I guess they're just called Abraham, even though it's a multiple entities, non-physical. So these are, I'm guessing, higher plane, higher entities on a different level. And I'm assuming that's why she talks fast, because the information is coming into her being channeled. I've done a little bit before. I get kind of some downloads if I open up a question and I can kind of let something come in. So I kind of understand. I've been around other people who have done some channeling. So sometimes the information they get, it's not the same speed or the same way you would normally talk in a conversation, because it's coming in, and so you kind of have to transcribe what's coming in, almost like you're interpreting somebody speaking a different language.
Right.
And that person's talking, that person's yeah, and you have to kind of keep up with that.
Right.
So I guess that's why she is the way she is, the way she communicates. After I listened to it a couple more times, I got used to it, and it didn't really bother me so much. I think because after that I was more focused on the content and really honing in on what she had to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the beginning, though, the first time I listened to it, it was a little difficult to grasp. I've listened to some of her stuff before, not too much, and it's sort of all the same way, the way she communicates, very rapid pace.
Yeah.
I find some stuff useful for what she says. Overall, I don't know if I'm a real big fan of hers.
Your face looks like you sat down to a Thanksgiving meal that just does not look very delicious at all right now.
I think a lot of stuff she says is very good. I just think that it's a lot more complicated than what she says about vibration and everything else. And
right.
There's a lot more obstacles in between getting that. It's like her go from point A to point B. Just be the vibration that you want, and just be that, and just manifest it. Okay, but there's a lot of there's a big journey from point A to point B in terms of that vibration.
So is it possible that through the channeling, some of the information is, I don't want to say lost in translation, but maybe these higher I don't want to say higher, but otherworldly dimensional beings that are relaying these messages to her. The these thoughts are very simple for them, very like it should be, like 1+1 is 2, 1+1 is 2, and that's the way she's conveying this message. Like, look, you just become the vibration, you become the vibration, like, and that's why it's so fast and so adamant.
Yeah, I think I think it's sort of
Yeah.
I think it's sort of those beings on another plane. I think when they're not in a body and they haven't been, maybe they haven't been human. I'm just assuming they haven't been human in a very long time. They haven't gone through the same crap we're going through. It's easy just to tell somebody, hey, you know what, just focus on the positive and follow
Yeah,
your bliss and everything will come true.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy to say when you're in a an astral realm of paradise, telling us
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
how to live. You
Floating
know,
above, floating somewhere um, elsewhere above the shitstorm that is currently planet Earth, right? Like, come on, suck it up,
right?
vibrate, frequency,
It's like
bada bing, bada
it's like a
boom.
billionaire. It's like a billionaire telling somebody who's poor, who's struggling, hey, you need money, well, just become rich. You
Mm.
know, just
Yeah,
just come up with an idea
yeah.
and start a business, and you'll be a millionaire and
Don't do
work
the other
80
stuff.
hours a week.
Right. Don't do the other stuff. Buy my book. Do this stuff. You're good.
Yeah. But I should say there is good stuff that she does say. There is good stuff. It's just that I think that it's a little incomplete.
Very, very fair. I will say before we jump into the meat of it and get messy. Thank you once again for for guiding this spaceship to the perfect port of call. A few weeks ago, as my daughter came to me asking for some help and wanting to do some work with me, which is such a gift, and probably the thing that brings me the most joy and excitement in my life right now, being able to share the things that I've learned with my daughter, because she's in a place of allowing that right now and being very open uh, to work on those levels that she's had severe resistance to in the past, much like her pop. Um, I gave her some homework. We haven't really dove too deep into any, shadow work processing or anything like that yet. Just introductory surface level stuff. But I gave her some homework. And at the bottom, I said, "You got any room at the bottom of the page?" She's like, "Just a little bit." I gave her like 9 things to consider doing. Just practices and stuff, not distractions, but things to connect with herself, become more aware of things, et cetera, et cetera. I said, at the bottom of the page, I want you to write something 3 times. And she said, "What's that?" I said, "Write self, love, self, love, self, love." And she did. And you didn't know this, but you brought finding self love to me, and it is perfect timing. Um, it's been as you and I have chatted in the past, and maybe on a previous episode too, my struggles with self love and taking it to the depths in which I'd really like to practice it. This was good for me, because after I got over the machine gunner hump of of her delivery and just being what it is, I wanted to find some juicy nuggets to dig my teeth into. And there, as you said, there's some good stuff there, and there is. And I have no previous experience with any recordings. Wait, that's not entirely, no. I have heard. Um, I think I saw her and her husband on stage once when he was, because he is no longer of this physical plane, right? He
Right.
has passed, right? Um,
Right.
Rest in peace, Jerry. And it was some small seminar, some small audience. I don't even remember what it was or why I stumbled upon it, but it didn't captivate me for too long. I was just like, oh, she channels people. That's kind of cool. And then moved on to the next YouTube video. So it was just in and out.
Right.
But when I started reading again, got my library card a few years ago. Library card. Um,
Library.
one of those fun words. Um, this book popped out on the shelf, and it was called Ask and It Is Given, and I think someone on Facebook recently read it or recommended it, and I was like, I mean, it's staring me in the face. I'm not going to resist the sign. I mean, like, there's thousands of books around me, and here's this book that I recently saw online somewhere. Why not? And I read the book, and I got something really quite magical from it. And so it's
Yeah.
called Asking is Giving, Learning to Manifest Your Desires. And for me, I have huge money blocks, still do. But this book really helped me move some mountains, man, and get some things flowing. And there's two practices that I'll briefly share. One of them was take so you get yourself a little journal, you know, maybe something like this, perfect size, whatever, notebook, legal pad, whatever works for you. And every day spend $1,000, fictitious money, of course, but every day spend $1,000 and incrementally keep it ascending. So on day one, $1,000. Day three, $3,000. Day five, $5,000, $6,000. You end up spending in a year's time, I believe the figure is somewhere over, could be wrong, but I think it was like $66 million, right? So as you spend this money and you're documenting what you're spending the money on, the first day is pretty easy. $1,000 goes by fast.
Right.
But you get up to day 10, day 20. I mean, now you're starting to spend some money. And then I'm creating, so I have all these things that, you know, I'm sending Ray $5,000 to set up a nonprofit organization because he's been talking about it for a year. Or, you know, I'm sending my friend Sean 20 grand today because he wants to do this permaculture initiative in the Rocky Mountains, whatever, so forth and so on, right? And
Yeah.
and so I started having these columns, and like I'm like, what do I do today? It became like work, right? Like this is a lot of money. And I have columns like cryptocurrency, like, all right, I'm going to invest this today in crypto. I'm going to buy gold. I'm going to buy silver. Gee, still, I'm like, I've already bought houses now. I've traveled the world. I've done this. I've done that. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, what do I do next? All right, I set up a savings account for my daughter. Here's money for my girlfriend. And like, it became really cool. I'm helping all these families. I'm setting up all these organizations. I'm buying all these houses, and the money's still coming in. So you get into this feeling of not just abundance, but like what it feels like to do these things versus like, maybe
Wow.
one day. So you really connect with these specific initiatives, these people that you're giving money to, and how that brings you joy and excitement and all this stuff. And I got to tell you, man, a few years later, I have some of those things. Now, I still have huge money blocks, and I still have a long way to go. And to this day, I don't have much money in my account at all, right? The job right now is because of, you know, I'm an independent representative right now. So consulting, whatever. So I have my own company, but I'm not making any money, right? Just because of the way the economic climate is right now and the type of industry that I'm in. However, I do have an account, and I hadn't had, for me, that's a big thing. Like I didn't have a bank account of anything. I have an account now. I have some cryptocurrency. It's very small, but I've bought gold and silver. These things years ago, if you would have said this to me, I would have been like, yeah, well, this is for other people. Or I would recommend it to them like, hey, buy gold, buy silver. Hey, get into cryptocurrency because I'm telling you, I can't do it, but you should do it. But it became now I can do it. And slow, as I begin to continue to do this work, I see how the avenues are opening up more and more, and the roadways are clearing, Ray. And this was one of those exercises that I took from that book. I'll share the other one later on in the episode, give you a chance to breathe into what I just shared.
If there's a link or anything from that, maybe we could add to the.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll put that in the description.
But so going into finding self-love, like you said, it was the woman was asking the question. She was wanting to know how to get self-love, and she said how she wanted to be just hit over the head with a self-love stick and just have it easy. And she realized that a lot of times it comes in increments of self-love. And well, what part that I a little bit disagree on somewhat is how Abraham said there's no quantum leaps. It comes in, she said like a radio station, and she said that, you don't go from, 92 FM to all the way to 106. It's like that. It's increments. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. my experience, my personal experience is that I did go from all the way from one end to another end. With my experience, I went from 0 to 100, but then I came back. Maybe I didn't go all the way back down to like 92. Maybe I went to like 92.3,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
93 FM.
Yeah.
And so I was showing the possibilities. I went all the way to the end. Then I came back, and now it's like I have to kind of find my own way back up. You know what I mean? It was like
I do.
I
Yeah.
was shown that light. Now it's like, okay, now I have to like find it, and I have to do the work, and I have to, see, even after I had that experience with Ramdas, and I was shown that I am love, and he revealed the essence of who I really was, and it was this beautiful thing, and I was just filled with this love.
Yeah.
It didn't take much long after till I sort of went back to where I was at. I kind of went back to my set point, and I realized I did not love myself. And I don't know. I think some of it, like she says, one of the biggest obstacles to self-love is we compare ourselves, what we have and we don't have, to others. And I think that's part of it. I think that's definitely part of it. We do compare. If you're having money struggles, it's easy to look at somebody that we know who has more than us and cause that to not love ourselves. But I do believe that there are other obstacles. Um, I think the biggest obstacle to self-love is really our identification with our experiences, the story we create of me. And even doing the shadow work and the trauma work, if you really think about it, it's liberating ourselves from that story from that incident, because that's how we form our identification. And there's really nothing wrong with that. At a certain point when we're young, it's very useful. We learn from our experiences because we want to stay safe. We want to survive. If that person caused me harm, then we know, okay, stay away from that person. But we carry these traumas from these incidents, and that forms who we think we are. We develop a storyline. So I think we carry the storyline of, I'm not worthy of love, I was abandoned, I was mistreated. So because of that, I'm not lovable. I'm incapable of self-love because I'm looking at other people for validation of whether or not I am worthy of this love. So I think that's really what the biggest obstacle is in my mind. I don't know what you think about that.
I am going to backtrack to the quantum leap phrase and kind of echo your sentiments because, as we have discussed previously on other episodes and/or personally, um, yeah, I made a giant leap too, and so I wrote that one down. But I wrote down the quote, but I didn't write anything next to it because I was still uncertain how I felt about it. But you bring a little clarity to maybe my feelings on that subject, and I think maybe what they were alluding to was that maybe sustainably you can't, there's
Yeah.
no quantum leap. Maybe
Right.
the best way to love yourself or to experience self-love is incrementally, so that it's more permanent, more sustainable, lasting, et cetera, versus making that big leap and going, I am love, I am here, and then I see it all, I feel it all, I have all the answers. Is we talked about the spiritual bypassing days of the
Right.
past, and then getting knocked down quite a few thousand notches and going, okay, it's not what I thought, it's not what I thought, but I saw it, and I'm going to get back there again, but just differently.
Right.
So maybe that's what I took from that. um I did, yeah, the part about seeing other people and getting caught up in that. I spent some time with that because I wanted to understand that more. Um, so in summation, okay, in one phrase, how would you wrap that whole topic up?
Of what, comparing
Yeah,
others?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
With
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would say that we judge our own happiness by the appearance of other people's happiness. We have what we want, so we look at what they have. If we want a big house, we say that they have a big house, and we think somehow I'm unworthy of that house somehow.
Right.
Or there must be some reason. And what she even talks about is we don't really understand what's going on in someone's life. If somebody could have that big house, it doesn't mean that they're really happy, even though that's what you think what makes you happy. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are very wealthy who aren't happy, people who are famous who aren't happy, people who maybe appear to have that perfect relationship, at least on the outside, aren't really happy. And we see that, we see just the layer of it, the surface layer of it, and we think, oh man, I wish I had that too.
Yeah.
Why don't I have that?
Yeah. Look, I sat in a room with Teal Swan and her, our manager and stuff like that. And man, they talk about, you're like, wow, what a life she has and this and that. Right. And man, how I would love to have this. I would love to have that. Man, they talk about fame. Like, man, that is, whoo, be careful what you wish for type of thing. Like, and he even, looked at all of us and was like, if you have the opportunity to not be famous, don't be famous. like that was his way, like, don't do it, man. And that's true. When he said it that day, to all of us, I was like, wow, like he meant that shit, man. He wasn't like, don't try and, compete with Teal or anything like that. It had nothing to do with that. It was like, look, before you decide you want fame and that's what you want in your life, think again. Maybe it's for you, but it's a tough cookie to digest, man. And that stuck with me because I started saying, all right, well, let me feel more into what this fame thing would be like or could be like. And I really started to understand how dark it could get really quick and how much pressure is involved and how much judgment and this and that and all those other things. And I'm like, all right, well, I might still go after it, but at least now I'm more aware of what might come along with it. But yeah, no, you summarized that perfectly well and delivered me exactly to where I hoped you would. And that was, what she said about comparing our lives to others. And that was the sticking point for me as I was trying to just allow myself to be rocked in the sea of that topic for a while. And I'm like, all right, what does this part mean for me? And that's where the boat kind of settled was, I do that and I have done it. We all have done that and compare. But all right, let me do the opposite and do it. What she said about, I think I wrote this down, train yourself into feeling better and better and better and better and looking for connection through your eyes, and starting with the easiest of things. And we talked about this somewhat last week. Is start with the things that you have little resistance to, and the things that are right in front of you, and then work up to the bigger, more challenging things, or the things you have blocks with, or that seem insurmountable, or whatever. And the last night I looked at this tree in my backyard in just absolute awe and love, and I was like, I need to look at this tree. I need to look at myself the way I look at this tree, man. And it's serious. It sounded so like stoner hippie. Dude, I totally need. But that seriously, and that it was echoed when I listened to the recording again today. And what I did was something that she suggested to this person that she was gunning down. And that was sit before a mirror and
love yourself.
Find appreciation for the self, like look into my own eyes and find that love. And I've prescribed that practice to many, in my life coaching days, even, with my daughter. And I've talked about it. And because I've heard great people say great things about it, I've seen when I've asked people how they got these, how'd you lose all this weight? I stare in the mirror. Didn't do any exercise. Didn't do anything but stare at them. Like,
Wow.
stop it. And they're like, seriously, that's how I did it. And I'm like, okay, that there's no reason that you would lie to me, or like if that's the way you did it, that's kind of cool. So I'd recommend it to people. I'm like, look in the mirror, spend some time in the mirror. And all the while, of course, you know, not practicing what I'm preaching, right? And today I had some time. I had about an hour, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I've done it twice before, once or twice, but like half-assed it. And I was totally naked the last 2 times, but I only did it maybe for like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. I had this hour where I really couldn't, I was kind of shackled to where I could go and where I had to be because I had to take my partner to work. So I'm like, I am going to sit in front of this full-length mirror in the bedroom for an hour. Ray, it was everything that those people that have gotten amazing results said it was. It was transformative. It was profound. It started off sad as fuck. Like I'm sitting there on my big old bed. I'm in this chair and it's just really
it was sort of almost like doing like a connection process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I sat there on this just plain wooden chair, and my posture was, I was sitting up as best I could, but my gut's there in all of its glory. And I happened to be wearing a shirt that was a little small on me, so it's popping out, and I'm like, fuck it. So I lift up my shirt to like my chest, and I just let this spare tire hang out. And I'm like, all right, time to look. And it started off with so much judgment. I don't know, maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes, and just even in my eyes, I looked in my eyes and I'm just like not enjoying what's in front of me. And I'm like, all right. And then I just start to hold my belly and just allow what's in front of me, right? And I'm allowing this. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Take the shirt off. Now I've got, you know, my saggy chest, my big old fucking belly. And I'm like, my 46 years of scars, they just wear and tear, right? Right in front of me, Ray. And I'm like, oh boy. And it kind of looks like this is it, man. This is our show, raw, authentic. It's all here for you, folks. It looks like a chubby, like sad mushroom. So the nipples are the eyes, the belly button is the mouth. And I'm doing that. I start laughing. I'm like, I've got a sad fucking chubby mushroom here. But I'm like, this is me. This is me. The exercise is fine appreciation. So let me find, you know, not making fun of myself, but I'm enjoying the cute little mushroom, right? And then, so the more I settle into, I'm sure the only thing I have on is a pair of shorts. So I could see my feet, my legs, everything. Just didn't feel like getting totally naked. But I'm almost there, right? And I'm spending a lot of time on this area because that's actually my trouble area. Like I have a pretty thin face, but my arms are fine. My stomach and this area though, that's where all the weight is. So it's forcing me
to love.
Yeah. And how it may have been serving me, and you know, the boundaries and protection and all that stuff was coming up, but I'm staying on the physical, right? I'm staying on the physical, but that starts to shift. And then I decide to turn off the light because it's kind of like, it's a bright light in the room. And I have the blinds closed. So I'm sitting and it's just like more natural. So there's a kind of shift that happens there. And it's just me really now, I've gotten over the chubby mushroom. It's kind of turned into like this sad, but like curious mouse, right? But still sad. But it's not the chubby mushroom anymore. And I'm still laughing and connecting. And I'm like, you know, I got to go deeper. I got to make this beyond just the physical, but connect to my spirit, right? So I'm like, what should I do next? And this is consolidating it. So I'm monopolizing the show here with this experience. But I opened the blinds a little bit to the back where I could see that tree in the mirror too. So the tree is now behind me and this natural light's coming in. And this is when I start to go into me. And the way the light's playing off the mirror, and it's either fucking with my eyes or giving me a portal into really seeing my being, I become this like energy being. I'm not smoking weed, I'm not tripping acid, but like I see the all the energy. It's like rainbow,
Right.
just like all the colors and just vibrating. I'm like doing this with my eyes, and I'm like, why would you wipe that away, imbecile? Like, allow this experience. Like you're like seeing God or whatever, and it's like you just like, oh, no, I don't want to see that, right? Like,
Right.
so I allow that, and man, I get to see myself in such a new light and just soft. So in the beginning of the experience, judgment and hatred and just
Yeah.
right, to being so much more light and open and allowing. The smiles came out
It's
naturally,
beautiful.
Ray. Yeah, and it was just an hour. So all the talking I've ever done about it, and that's the Reader's Digest version, um, without sharing too much specifics. But it was beautiful, man. I remember saying halfway through, I checked my phone because I only had an hour. I'm like, wow, that was a half an hour. And when I put my phone back in my pocket, I was like, I could totally see myself doing this again, if not tomorrow,
I'm gonna
sometime soon.
try it. Maybe I'll try it later. Later after this.
Because when I did it the first two times, Ray, I didn't commit to it. I said, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't feel anything. I said, I think you need to give yourself like an hour. At least for
Yeah.
me, it was an hour. 5-10 minutes isn't going to cut it. You need to like go in and allow the layers to
Yeah.
just
Because
to
I could definitely see there being a lot of resistance in the beginning to that. But
yeah.
well, back to the video. What I was really important, what I got out of this was that it seems that she explained that loving others is the same as loving yourself, like finding that appreciation. And when you love other people, when you find fascination with people, appreciation, that's you're being your true authentic self. Because you are love. You are love. So that's putting you who you really are. So loving other people, in a sense, is loving yourself. Especially if you go into the whole everything is one mindset, that there really is no other. So finding appreciation, finding fascination, admiring somebody or something really is loving yourself, because you have to be open to that place of love in order to see that fascination or that um, aspect of somebody that you think is lovable. And that's not always easy to do, especially if somebody has hurt us before. That goes back into how we talked about forgiveness being a process. And there's other obstacles too, I think, of loving other people. If you take that approach of loving other people as loving yourself, there's still going to be some obstacles because, like recently, I tried to talk to my ex, who I had kind of some silence towards because she hurt me. And I thought, you know what, I'm tired. Kind of goes back to the last episode, how when you don't have that forgiveness, you have that tightness in the chest, that walnut heart, and that dread. And I felt that towards her when she was around. So I'm like, you know what, I need to talk to her, just chat. I'm not gonna say I forgive you or anything like that, but just talk up and talk to her. And I did, and it was fine. She was happy, and I felt better. I felt a release, kind of that some of that tension left. Problem is though, is that I see there's a fear there. There's a fear that if I open my heart to her, then I'm gonna become attached to her again. So there's that little bit of that fear there. So it's sort of a little bit of a balance. It's not that easy. And if I get reattached, then I'm gonna start wanting her, and then it's gonna play through the whole scenario of like, why did that happen? Blah 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 blah. So it's a little bit of a tricky process of just opening your heart to somebody or loving somebody. So I think we still have to have boundaries in that as well. So sometimes you could open your heart to somebody, find admiration in somebody, but maybe we have to keep a distance from them as well in order to that is a way of loving ourselves, by having a boundary. So
That's a very good way to put it.
yeah.
I see
Yeah, so go ahead.
I see you're rocking the tie-dye today.
Actually, it's Bob Ross.
Oh, no mistakes, just happy little trees.
Yeah, just happy accidents.
Happy accidents, is that what he said? Okay.
Yes.
I
So,
miss tie dye, man. I think I might have one shirt left, but there was a time, Ray, where I was wearing tie dye every day. It wasn't because of like, I'm smoking weed or this and that. Maybe they went hand in hand, okay, but
I
like
think it was probably.
but no, I really enjoyed having it. Okay, when I started smoking a lot, the tie dye found me, man. Like it was just like there was a magnet for it. Like people giving me shirts and this and that, and maybe I threw a tie dye making party once or twice. Fine, but I think it was just the joy of wearing tie dye, the just the colors and the just it being. For me, it was like I don't know, just like a
Happy.
beacon. Yeah, and a beacon for like connection too. Like, hey, there's a guy that looks like he wants to connect and be happy and maybe foster community or something. Like it's not like I think you look at someone and go, oh, he's probably a hater, or
I think it's very non-threatening when you see
he,
somebody in tie-dye.
right. It was that, and yeah, for me the tie dye was like a welcoming mat, and also even beyond that, it was kind of like a neon sign that was like, hey, come here, I want to connect. Oh, let's be friends. Let's make a band. Let's go smoke some weed. Whatever. Maybe it was that too. Like, hey, I don't have any. Do you? That was never a problem, except except
So
except the time when I smoked it all and created the great drought of 2012. Um, but back to the video. Um, loving me. Oh, she said there's a big difference between loving me and being me who loves.
that's exactly what I was gonna talk about. I think. Yeah, that was exactly was I had that written down too.
Okay, well, I would like I would like you to start then, because if are you okay with that, or you want me to start?
Yeah. It's
Cool.
being me that loves and being loved. Being me who loves is somebody who is still attached to the story of me, that still has wants and desires, looking for that fulfillment. And if I've approached somebody by loving them, I could be at least even on a subconscious level, be trying to fill a void within myself with that person, or I could be trying to look to get something back, and that could easily turn into some sort of manipulation. When you're just being love, you take that person as an aspect of yourself, and there's nothing else in it except just expressing that love and expressing that unity. There's no thought of me within that. It just is. It just is love. It's just natural love. It's natural giving, because you care about the well-being of that person, because that you see that well-being as an extension of you. So if that person is suffering, you are suffering. So you do whatever you can to alleviate that person from suffering anymore. And I believe that's the difference between being somebody loving and just being love.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that, and I think it really ties into, for me, that was another like just end of the thread, endless end of the thread that keeps weaving itself through the tapestry of these podcasts. For me, it was like just a continuance of last week, and sending out kindness and sending out the forgiveness in the different directions and all that. You know how we keep talking about that, but now doing the same with love, right?
Right. Right.
and and loving that tree last night led me to loving myself in a whole new way,
Right.
and it found me the very next day. um and I wasn't trying to rhyme there or be cute, but like that's what ended up happening. Like, and when I opened the window during that mirror meditation, I wasn't man, what I just opened it for the light, not even thinking, oh, that's where the tree is too. And it didn't really dawn on me that I was going to be able to see the tree till I sat down in the chair, and there it was. And
Yeah.
it was just such a neat, just reminder and gentle remembrance,
Right.
if you will, that it's all right there in front of you.
Yeah, it is.
And just again, I'll echo what she said, just bringing gratitude and love into the things right in front of you, the flowers, the grass, the person wearing that shirt. Oh, I really like the color of that shirt, and just sending that love out. And I think it softens you, and it comes back to you in the most wonderful of ways. Yeah.
Definitely, because you became, it's almost like you became unified with that tree. You became one with that tree by loving it.
Oh, and here, look, that's exactly. And here's the second part of that book. I chose to use money again because that was the biggest obstacle at the time, biggest frustration that I was dealing with. And I believe this was that book. If it's not, then this is a cool exercise, but I'm pretty sure it's the same book. You take a subject, and it could be a house, like dear, and this is a letter that you're writing. Okay, you can write dear house. You can write dear vacation that I've never taken. Dear, it's not just things that you want or you haven't gotten. It could be anything. Dear mom, right? I chose money, something you have resistance to, right? Okay. Dear money. And you write a letter to money, and you say, hey, just take it back. Like, ever since I first met you, you can take it back to your first recollection of money, right? And the first time I saw you, my grandfather was handing you to me because I hit a home run, and that was so cool to be able to do that and receive that. But then as I got older, I realized you were the crazy one. To drop some Eminem lyrics real quick. Fuck you, money, and whatever, and then take it back to now. I'm sorry I felt that way. You could, whatever comes up, and this could be a series of letters if you want, because man, my letter was a long ass letter. I mean, I had a lot of history with money, as a lot of us do, not just with money, but with any subject. Imagine you writing a letter to your mom. Okay, so you finished a letter or series of letters. You read it out loud because it's therapy, right? Man, it hits you. You hear yourself say these things, dear money, wow. Then you do the coolest part. And you put a little X, or you scribble through money, and then you put your own fucking name in its place.
Wow.
And then you reread the letter.
Bodhi,
Bodhi, boom. Man, it teaches you a lot about your relationship with that particular thing and yourself in the most incredible of ways. Because you don't change the letter, but you, dear John, I remember when we first met, and you take it through, and there are some areas that might seem a little odd or bumpy, but for the most, man, it opens your eyes in some really unique ways.
It probably shows how you project certain things onto money. Like, that's where I'm guessing that's where it shows you, and you kind of, it's eye-opening.
Yeah. But I give thanks to Abraham Hicks for those particular exercises, and it's helped transform my life in some really cool ways. I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for those things.
Link. Yeah, we should leave a link for that book.
I will definitely
want to get that or read
that. Yeah. Ask and it is given. That is. So what else you got, my friend? I don't have anything else. The only thing I didn't reveal from my very short page of notes is the better it gets, the better it gets. Something else from Teal that she says all the time. And before I heard Teal say that, I'd always heard the how can it get any better than this?
Yeah,
That whole
heard
story
that
that,
before.
you know, the people that say it can't get any
A-
better than this,
That's
then it won't.
active consciousness.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
But just change the words up a little bit and open it up, and what a magical place the world becomes, right? And that was just piggybacking on the train yourself into feeling better and better and better and better, the incremental, you know, steps. And I really liked that.
Right.
Um, just I, I just liked that reminder to come back to that, because sometimes I definitely am guilty of forgetting that, and how powerful that practice can be.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank
Um,
you, Esther Hicks. Thank you, Jerry Hicks from the Great Beyond. Thank you, Abraham. Thank you, Teal Swan, as always.
I always thought it was interesting too, as she says, which was really good, is that some people, yeah, she said it's really not about getting the manifestation. It's about connecting to that frequency, to that feeling. Because near the end, she says, I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but it was not about getting the manifestation. They just want to get you to that point that you're almost the vibration that is a match to the manifestation. Can't say that word. So just getting to that place of love, and that's why you're focusing on loving other people, finding admiration, finding fascination with other things, not worrying about whether or not you're going to manifest whatever it is that you're trying to get. Like, let's say that's a relationship or
Right.
a new job or a house or something. Not having that your mind so fixed on the end result, but more on the way there of, of getting into that place of love and getting into that feeling part, which is, and then it says how the universe, if you once you are that vibration, the universe has no other choice but to match you with that vibration. Once
Yeah.
it's authentic, and once it's kind of really, yeah, really real, sustainable.
Yeah. That
And
and
that's really,
that worked with that money exercise with the cryptocurrency account and the gold and the silver. Like, who's this penniless poet John Pepe he's gonna have gold and silver, and he's gonna have, well, yeah, you know what, someone gave me, you know, I get a gift, you know, like from my dad, whether it was like $100 or something, you know, like, hey son, here, keep the boat floating or whatever, and I would, instead of spending it on something or whatever, I'd say, you know what? Now I can get some cryptocurrency. Let me put it here, or let me buy some gold. Let me get some, you know. And like I said, it wasn't a lot of money, but it made it more real. And it was by releasing, not just releasing that resistance, but in doing that exercise and setting up the account and feeling into what it would feel like to have some cryptocurrency and have these gold. Yeah, I have gold and silver, and almost making light of it, the
yeah,
heaviness was lifted, and it showed up like
right.
almost effortless, without even thinking about it, just showed up. I'm like, holy shit, here it is.
It almost goes back to a Teal video that says how Teal says, if you want something, you got to deal with the resistance of it first. And in a way, I think that is almost her way of saying the same thing, is that you want that, so you have to deal with the resistance. The resistance is whatever's blocking you from getting into that frequency or that vibration. So
Yeah.
I believe it's sort of the same thing, just said it in a different way.
Oh yeah. And she also says, and has said it recently, and it echoes in my chambers 4, which is my heart, that she or he who masters resistance masters life, man. And I think that just, I've been holding on to that these days, and that's Teal, by the way, because I think I had so much resistance to resistance, Ray.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
and,
I think
and
most people do.
and I think the more I understood resistance, maybe I didn't even really understand it at first, maybe 5 years ago, and what it was and how it pertained to everything. The more intimate I got with resistance, God, the more wonderful life really just got, man. And the more I
Yeah,
understood the people around me, and it just, yeah, I really, that hits deep with me, that phrase. So
right. I
yes, we're
think
doing. Go
normally
ahead.
we try to bulldoze through that resistance, or we try to ignore it, or just fight our way through it, instead of just, we think we have to be, we think that's being strong, is not to acknowledge the resistance or just go for what we want and not really see these obstacles, or which are really just our own stuff, getting on our own way. And,
And
and a lot of people don't. They will do anything but face that resistance.
and why I love this podcast, man, because I had resistance to teachers, to authority figures, to hierarchies, to all that stuff. And it's been, teachers like Teal, like all the people that we reviewed so far, the JP Sears, the Eckhart Tolles, the Jack Cornfields, everyone that we've done, right? And all that we're going to do. Like, for me, I think it's awesome because there are people that are here. That's their calling, man, their passion, their purpose. When they shine the most, they're sharing these things, and whether we agree with them or not, or wherever we're at in our life, to be open to receive whatever level of information that they're trying to share, it doesn't matter, man. Like, even when we start off talking about this video with Abraham Hicks, look how so much has come from this video that we were like,
Right.
we didn't take many notes down, but look how many paths, doorways, portals it's opened during our
Right.
conversation for us, of self-reflection, of connecting with each other, of putting our information and opinions out there into the world for others to possibly, hopefully, connect to. This is episode 7. I'm just kidding. Many more to come. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very
Yeah.
thankful for what's right in front of me is this fucking podcast, man. And I've said this before, but I love doing this with you every week because it's helping me in so many ways show up for
Mm-hmm.
myself, for my family, for you, for other people. It's changing my life in all of the most colorful of ways, man, for sure.
Yes. I give love to you. I give love to this podcast. I give
Speaking of
love
love,
to
okay,
all
go
the
ahead.
listeners.
Oh wait, I cut you off before giving love to the listeners. So let me open the stage back up to you to love our listeners, because they need some love, right?
Yeah. So we love our listeners on all platforms. So I send that love.
Right. Please don't ever cancel us, Anchor. We love you. Thank you for all you do, and for all of the other places that you published our broadcast. Should we ever um, display or say anything that's out of line, or content that's not good, please let us know, and we'll make alterations. Don't delete us. Don't cancel us. We have a mission here. Anyway, the
Hey, did
journey
you bring
of
some?
love.
Oh, nice.
Right. So these are some beautiful cards. Um, my partner and I, we were standing amidst the sea, this library of hundreds of decks, and I was like, choose one. It was a gift for either her birthday, anniversary, or something. This is the one she chose a few years ago. I love it because Elena Fairchild has something to do with it. Also, someone named Rasuli and Richard Cohn. Don't know who they are, but anything Elena Fairchild does, I'm always digging. I've never met her. Don't know much about her. Maybe we should pull up a video on her if she's done one sometime. I don't know, but I'll shuffle them up. Here's the front, just like the box of the cards, but the artwork's pretty cool. The cards are very pretty, like
Nice.
artwork, really nice stuff. Ooh, hello. So yeah, you went tie dye today. I went Bodhi beads.
There you go.
So caught up in my technology cords. One day we're both going to wear beads, man. It's going to be a glorious episode, I'm sure. Folks, we are
Yeah.
one episode away from binge-worthy podcasting here. I think we've determined that when we hit episode 8, we're
Yeah, that's what we
officially
said.
binge-worthy, and so we're one away. All right, so tap out the old, make some Bodhi music.
Use the beads.
Get a card for the collective. If you've shown up, this card is for you. It's for all of us. You are an energetic match to this message. Let me make sure you see the card that when I cut the deck earlier and I opened it up, was card number 40 or something like that. It was like something, I'll look it up for myself later, but a podcast was about to start, so I didn't. It was
Yeah.
called The Void or something like that. Ooh, I don't know. Well, we'll see. Okay, take right from the middle. Well, maybe that one. Maybe who knows? Wait, let's shuffle one more time so you guys know I'm not playing around. This is our card. Woo! Here's the message. Bada bing. Bada boom. What does it say?
Upside down.
Is it?
Oops. It's upside down.
Oh, it is. Okay, so
What
it
is it?
is shifting. What does it say?
Universe?
Shifting universes.
Whoa. Sounds pretty serious.
So,
I mean,
I
we're gonna
don't know.
transcend to a different universe or transcend dimensions.
I'm gonna read about it. Here we go.
All right. Shifting universes.
Card number 7 for the month of July. Number 7.
What number?
Episode number
What number was
7.
that?
What?
It was number 7?
Yeah. Man, we have been hitting with these cards, brother. I'm telling you.
That means it's meant to be.
Oh, come on. Always with you and me, man, the cards, I mean, it's always so good. Shifting universes. Man, it's not too much to read. It's important, though, so here we go. I'm pretty sure we could probably wrap the episode up after this, but if you have some other stuff, let me know. All right. You are blessed with an opportunity to change gears, to change your life, to jump on the fast train. You are invited to fling yourself off the repetitive treadmill way of life and into a dance through nature, to be utterly confused and delighted, to accept the way of divine trust, even with its chaos, the instability that precedes all genuine creativity. So here it is. You get out of, what? Your get out of jail free card. Your opportunity to make a mess and find what you didn't know what you were looking for. You are being nudged. If you wish, let yourself go down the strange path opening up before you without knowing what it is, even as you take your next step. Your universe is shifting, and stranger, more beautiful worlds beckon. Why not go where you haven't been before? You'll find yourself there and realize you are more than what you once thought you were. This oracle has a message for you. If you are thinking of changing location, jobs, houses, or attitudes, trying something new, especially if it is unusual for you, then the universe is supporting you. Now is the time to accept what you didn't expect. Now is the time to accept what you didn't expect.
I like that. I like that quote.
Time to jump on the fast train, Ray.
Choo choo.
Tell me there's no quantum leaps. We're getting on the quantum leap train. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, Hicks.
Woo! Well.
I like it. That's perfect.
Yeah, there's a little poem here, but I'll spare you the poem. Unless you want
Yeah.
the poem. Yeah, you're like, yeah, spare me the poem.
Yeah,
Not feeling the poem. All right. So, I mean, that seems like about an hour to me. I don't know. I don't have the timer going.
Feels good. I think we covered everything we needed to.
Man, I just panicked for a second. I went to look, I was like, is it fucking recording? Yeah, it's recording. Okay.
Oh, that would have sucked.
Oh my God. I was like, where's the, oh, okay, there it is. Woo. Man, oh man. So, hey, take it home for us, Bodhi Ray.
All right. So that was Abraham Hicks, Finding Self-Love. So the big takeaway for me was love others, be loved, and that's loving yourself. To me, that was the bottom line, what I got out of it. So let us know who you want us to review next. If you have any ideas for teachers or specific teachings themselves, comments, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know all the rest of them. You do.
Anchor, all the streaming podcasts. If you're not into the data drain of YouTube because you're not at home and you're out running or driving or whatever, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, all those are out there. They're all listed and will be below in the description. the one big takeaway I had was get in front of that mirror. I can finally say it with more conviction than ever. Now maybe when I tell people to do it, they'll actually do it, because now it's coming from a place of like personal, profound experience. Like that shit will change your life. Get in front of the mirror for an hour. Let me know, because woo!
I'm doing it right after this, man. I'm taking my clothes off. I'm jumping right in front of that mirror.
We will stop the recording for that, folks. Just be aware. That is not part of the podcast. All right. Well,
that should be for the premium subscribers.
That's Patreon material only. We have not created our Patreon yet, but it's going to be a whole nother level. You know, I keep thinking about retreats, Ray. You know, when the world, the global engine starts up again, and we can start doing things together and being more intimate again. I think retreats are going to be Bodhi-rific.
Yeah.
I
think so too. I think I could see that. I think we may have to get some other people involved, some other teachers that we know.
Yeah. Or not.
Maybe
I mean, that would be great. But I'm just saying, like, I think you and I could facilitate an ultra fun, very transformative event for sure. Even if it's just a weekend, you know, like 2 days. We start with some mini retreats. And then test the water, see what works, get some feedback, and yeah, I think that's going to be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Do a live show in front of everyone.
yeah, with our clothes on. To start.
No. Maybe on the second day that would change. Who knows?
Nobody needs to see the chubby sad mushroom or the inquisitive sad mouse. Like, it did turn into a cat though at the end, which was very interesting. So it went from chubby mushroom to mouse to cat. So transformative. Get in front of a mirror. I think we're out of here. Ray, how you feel about it?
I feel good, man. It's a wrap.
Rhino Bros for life. See you in episode 8, folks. Peace.